I think I'm live. So hello everybody. I'm just going to take a minute here and I'm going to see if I can't get some automatic subtitles while we're streaming on YouTube for those who need that. I know you can do it. I'm not entirely sure where. I did it once. So I'm just trying to figure out where to go to do it again. Yeah. Come on. YouTube.com. Okay. We are streaming on YouTube, on Twitch. It's going to be a solo show today. I'm probably just going to be, I'm going to go through some news items that I collected. It was not the easiest for some reason to find articles that I liked or thought that I would enjoy talking about for this, but hey Vulcan 999, how's it going? For some reason that's not coming up on my chat. Let's go live chat here. So yeah, I'm I apologize. I'm just fucking around for a minute here. I'm trying to find where I can set the I know there's somewhere in YouTube where you can, there's a YouTube live studio where you can say, hey, let's do add subtitles while you're streaming. You got to have your latency set correctly, and you have to have everything set right. But Damien shared the stream. Thank you, Damien, over on Facebook. Again, it did show up in the thing. Okay, yeah. Damien at Hope. Damien Marie at Hope shared the stream and liked the stream on Facebook. Thank you very much, Damien. Oh, relocked. Did you see the article about Black Hat showing that AI agents are just gaping holes in digital security? I did not. That sounds interesting. Sounds like something I should read. It's pretty wild stuff. The way I always emphasize I'm not an anti-AI person, but it's pretty clear that we have some issues with the way this is being rolled out. It's like, there we go. View in live control room. Fucking A. I'm getting sound effects, but I don't have any other things going on here. Can I adjust the settings while I'm streaming? I should be able to. Excellent. Edit. Customization. It might have only work with scheduled, and I forgot to schedule. I saw that. Thank you for posting that in my Discord, Relocked. Appreciate it. Okay. Let's get into the stories, I guess. Scroll up to the top of my doc. I've got maybe we'll go over that story at the end, because I think I do have an AI story in this one as well. It seems like every week or every 2 weeks there's an AI story that needs to be discussed on some level. So Velkin 999, did you see YouTube is using AI on content creators shorts without permission? Yes, and that is actually our capitalism's most deranged moment of the week for this episode, because I'm covering that today. That's going to be at the end of the episode. So, well, I guess not technically the end, but one of the last ones. First off, we're going to talk a little bit about. I'm going to see. Share this. Nope, not that. Share. No, cancel that. Fucking hell. Okay. Yes, I understand. Don't show me this warning again. So annoying. Here we go. 5 Canadian soldiers suspended. The Canadian military has a Nazi problem. 5 Quebec-based Canadian Army soldiers have been suspended after a video surfaced from 2023 showing them at a party where they performed Nazi salutes. Initially, I read this and it seemed like the article that I read before the CBC article was very like iffy about, like, it said like Nazi salutes were performed, but it seems pretty clear based on what I've read that it was done. The Nazi salutes were done by the military personnel in question, and they could be facing removal from the Canadian military. Uh, the video, which is short, it's less than 30 seconds long, shows a soldier with the Royal 22E Regiment flag consuming drugs before others raise Nazi salutes. Military police and internal investigators are probing the incident, and disciplinary action could lead to release from the forces. And this comes, of course, I don't know if you're a Canadian, there's a series of many such cases. Exactly, there's a lot of these cases going on. The Canadian military has like legitimately a Nazi problem. I think I like this view better. Maybe this one. I like this view better. Maybe. Yeah, like legitimately has a Nazi problem. Let's see. There was extremism and hateful conduct in the Canadian Armed Forces, with recent terrorism-related charges against other soldiers and investigations into extremist online groups. Yeah. Is there is there a military that doesn't? I doubt it. It seems like that's almost par for the course. I know they're all supposed to have rules, right, in place that that limit the exposure, I guess, of various right-wing extremist groups, white supremacist groups, or any extremist group. They're supposed to have rules against them, I guess. So like they couldn't, a military person couldn't probably call themselves an anarchist openly. But there does still seem to be a lot of Nazis in the military. They've introduced policies to combat extremism, but incidents spiked in 2024, and military leadership insists that such behavior undermines credibility, recruitment, and public trust. I I don't have trust in the military anyway, so I guess maybe that's just me. I don't know. Um, I don't see losing faith in the military as like this big problem, but I imagine if you are somebody who's in the military or ahead of the military, then that does seem like a problem to you. Very strange stuff to me. To give a shit seems like a good thing, really. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. I'm not a fan of the military just as a fundamental thing. So, uh, let's see. Yeah, so military introduced anti-extremism policies in 2020, which required members to report hateful conduct and require creating a registry of incidents. Uh, Supposedly, reports of extremism had been declining, but spiked again in 2024. Arise researchers linked to the political climate around Donald Trump's re-election campaign. And the chief of defense staff insists the forces have, quote unquote, no room for extremism, but acknowledges hateful conduct has been rising across Canadian society since 2009, which is, I think pretty straightforward. It's not really even controversial to say that there's a there's a right-wing problem in Canada, in the United States, and in much of the world right now. Um, right-wingers have gotten more and more extreme. Liberals have done nothing but enable them and let them become more extreme, and without real pushback. Not as far as policy wise, anyway. Like they always hedge. They always try to, placate the moderate conservative, which only lets the extreme conservatives take more and more control. Yeah, I guess that's. I don't know how much else there is to say about it. Like it's pretty obvious to me that the military shouldn't be something we put a lot of faith into anyway. And then, of course, there's a certain kind of culture around making people able to shoot other people and kill them. So, yeah. This next link, I hope, will translate. It is. I'm gonna see if it'll translate here. Yeah, translate it. It's I'm not exactly sure where this article is from. La Nation. Maybe it's French. It seems like a bad time to be giving the military a ton of extra money. No kidding. Yeah, no, that's right. And yet, that's what the military, or that's what the liberals are going to do, right? They really feel it's necessary to shore up that military stuff when extremism is on the rise. Really, really fighting that fascism. Oh, Jonathan Scott liked the stream over on Facebook. Thank you, Jonathan. Or some random geek. So, and hi on Twitch as well. Thanks, some random geek. Next up, we've got this the UK engaging in mass surveillance and facial recognition systems. The UK has become the only country in Europe to deploy large-scale real-time facial recognition, starting with London's Notting Hill Carnival. Police claim the technology has already led to over 1,000 arrests, which doesn't make me feel good about that. That's not okay. First time joining you live, stoked to be here. Talia, thank you, Talia, for being here. Yeah. Oh, and hi, some random geek over on YouTube as well. Good to see you. On all the places. Thank you, Jonathan. Or thank you, geek. Yeah. Where was I? Police claim the technology has already led to over 1,000 arrests, but civil liberties groups warn it creates a surveillance state with racial bias with no proper legal framework. That's what I would say. I would say that creates a surveillance state. That's what that is. And of course, it's going to be biased in certain ways because these programs, these facial recognition programs, they're trained on previous racial bias systems or racially biased systems. So then you're stuck with a system that sees all black people the same, all people who are of Arab descent are the same, all people who are indigenous are the same. It views people without like an actual, like, it's not like it's a thinking system. So it just finds a facial feature that it and assumes that everybody's the same. So then lots of people have been arrested despite not being the person that they're looking for because of fucking facial recognition shit. So despite calls to halt its use, the government is expanding deployments and moving toward permanent installations, putting the UK closer to authoritarian-style surveillance in its European neighbors. Talia Turner. A black family was recently held at gunpoint in a parking lot because one of these systems mistakenly flagged their car as stolen. Yeah. I mean, it doesn't surprise me, right? It's part of the fucking. It's like if you take a racist police person or police system and say, now let's automate it. It doesn't take the racism out of it, right? It's pretty absurd to think that it's going to improve things. And the fact that the police are saying like that they've arrested, it's led to over 1,000 arrests. Well, how many of those arrests are even legitimate? Like, to me, it makes no sense to just trust this system blindly. It's, I guess, like a broken record, like over here. It's like the AI stuff. It's like all of this stuff. You cannot just trust it blindly. You have to like be thinking people. Otherwise it's just going to screw everything up. Even worse, which it's already pretty bad. Let's see, in 2024 alone, 4.7 million were scanned in the UK, according to Liberty, a civil liberties NGO. Relocked. I mean, even that number is trusting the cops to tell the truth. Oh yeah, no, that's right. Because they probably haven't arrested over 1,000 people, right? That's their number. They got to make it sound good to the law and order types, so they're going to inflate it for sure. Yeah, it's pretty wild. Velka 999. We turned the police to AI. It's rounding up Jewish people now. Yeah, well, that's about it, right? It just takes these innocent people. Sean Thompson, a black man misidentified by the system, was wrongfully arrested, and his case will be heard by the High Court in January 2026. Relocked. The cops aren't doing 1,000 arrests worth of paperwork. No kidding. No, there's no way, is there? That's where they want to. That's where they want to be automating it. They want to be making arresting people easier for themselves. The Home Office is pushing ahead with expansions, authorizing facial recognition in 7 new regions and installing permanent cameras in Croydon this September. I don't know much about UK geography, so I don't know where that is, but I'm not a fan. The reason I even was looking for this was because my partner sent me a tweet talking about vans going through London with cameras on them using facial recognition. And it seemed pretty obvious to me, like that was like, I mean, I guess the UK already has like CCTV everywhere they go, right? Or all over the place. So there's already like a ton of like video surveillance going on for citizenry in the UK. But like, yeah, I don't know. This seems like even a ramp up above and beyond that. Like when you start driving around with video vans with cameras and using AI to increase the number of things you can recognize. Like this is not good for like free speech, right? This is going to be really bad for your protests and your just in general for the average person who happens to be somewhere and get misidentified. Reporters Without Borders warns that the UK's level of surveillance resembles authoritarian states such as China more than other Western democracies. Wow, and I'm not a big fan of that framing of that, right? Because I mean, maybe Reporters Without Borders might be a very good organization. I don't know anything about them, but what I do know is that like just saying that like Western democracies are free and China is not is ignoring a lot of what's going on. So yeah, that's that. And speaking of authoritarianism, I'm going to bring up my next article. Relocked. Naomi Klein was 100% correct about the left ceding privacy to the conspiracy right was massive. Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah. So in her book, The Mirror World, or yeah, I think that, or the one where she talks about the mirror world anyway. Yeah, that's the idea, right? We've doppelganger. Thank you. Yes, we did this during COVID when they were all talking about invasion of privacy and government overreach, and we were all like, no, it's good. Vaccines are good. It's good that they're forcing you to take them in a sense, and it's good that we're taking all this information off people. And like, maybe we shouldn't have been so quick to like, because they were wrong, we ceded too much ground, right? Like we absolutely definitely should have been more vigilant about this stuff. And I mean, some people were. I can admit that in many cases I was very like more fighting the anti-vax movement than I was fighting the government overreach, which in retrospect, maybe a person should have committed a little bit more effort into both of those. So yeah, speaking of authoritarianism, we've got Donald Trump. So Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson and Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker are pushing back against. Did I miss something? No. Are pushing back against President Trump's reported plan to deploy the National Guard to Chicago, calling it unconstitutional and unnecessary. This is like the third or fourth city, the third city for sure, right? L.A., Washington, D.C., and now Chicago he's threatening. But apparently, like I was reading in like Washington, D.C., it's a little bit different situation. So there's not as much legal recourse for the local authority figures like the mayor or the governor to push back because like he's actually got power in Washington, D.C. because they aren't like an official state or whatever it is. I don't know the details of all the U.S. stuff. This is where it would have been nice to have my buddy Justin, or even Ancom would have been good to have on for this. But violent crime in Chicago has actually declined, and state leaders emphasize that they have not requested federal aid. Trump has already sent troops to Los Angeles and D.C. under the Title X authority, sparking ongoing legal battles. I don't know. I read that he had more authority to do that in D.C. than he does in L.A. Brandon Johnson signaled that Chicago would also pursue legal action if Trump follows through, framing the deployment as a violation of state sovereignty under the 10th Amendment. The White House response was to accuse Democrats of failing to handle crime, and defended Trump's plan as part of the Make America Safe Again. Velkin 999. I live in Illinois, and we've already had many anti-ICE protests that I've attended. We're ready. Nice. Good stuff. That's what I like to hear. It's pretty troubling. I mean, we talk about like the UK and their surveillance state being like really authoritarian, but didn't I mean, it's just Twitter talk for me at this point, but somebody was saying about how Trump was like talking about how people want an authoritarian leader. Relock, this is absolutely a knock-on effect of the 24-hour news channels. Crime is historically low, but people are more scared of it than ever. Yeah, absolutely. That's I haven't had a chance to do anything with it this week because my partner was away. But next set of days off, I'm going to start doing some of my live streams, especially mainly on Twitch, listening to and discussing the rise of far-right media and even like mainstream media that feeds the far right, and including I have a whole list of videos and podcasts and things that we're going to be talking through, listening through and watching and talking about related to the topic of far-right media and the way propaganda and the news and the way it's framed has driven people a little bit to use like a word that I don't necessarily like. It's driven them crazy, right? Like they actually like they don't know what's going on. Like I mean that in the, I guess, least offensive way possible to people who suffer from mental illness. But Velkin 999. I don't see right wingers showing up in the streets either, so that's good. But give U-Hauls the side. yeah, that's understandable for sure. Yeah, for sure. I've got our next article is from Current Affairs. So I guess I kind of mentioned it right at the start, but this week I had a real struggle finding articles to talk about. It seemed like we've mentioned everything. Relocked. It is almost a psychosis, like people have been broken out of reality. Yeah, it does seem like it. So I had to go on Twitter of all places and look for articles from people and organizations that I follow, see what they were reading, and then this article came up. It's from Current Affairs. Yeah. These clowns aren't funny anymore. Yeah, no kidding. So Nathan J. Robinson writes that mocking the pundits on the right, while fun, is not as harmless as we once thought it was, because Summer and Week, were they funny to begin with? They were funny in a like we can laugh at you kind of way, like Ben Shapiro with his fucking piece of wood trying to act like a real man. I don't believe in the concept of a real man. Ben Shapiro does. I just want to make sure that I say that. But yeah, so he's outside a Home Depot with his piece of wood or whatever it was, Rona. I don't know. But yeah, with his piece of wood, pretending he's a man. And like these guys, they are fun to make fun of. And obviously like most of these are men that Nathan Robinson talks about. Figures like, but then he includes Barry Weiss. So Barry Weiss, Matt Iglesias, Noah Smith, Ben Shapiro, and Brett Stevens. He said, "Oh, I'm missing some chat here. Where am I? I'll open this window. There we go. If very tall Bart stops making YTP of them, it'll be quite sad though." Yeah. With the ContraPoints crash out, I've been really reflecting on how much of that BreadTube era content was just platforming right wingers, even if it mocked them. And then some random geek said, "I still laugh at Ben Shapiro saying a wet pussy is a sign of illness." Yeah, well, that's the thing. Like, some of this stuff is objectively funny, but then when you think about, are we letting these guys, act dumb, and we talk about them and we react to them or whatever, and then they get more of an audience, and they, like, right now, most of them are fully on board with, like, a genocide. They're out there promoting Israel as doing nothing wrong, as Bibi Netanyahu as doing nothing wrong, as though this is all just fine, and it's clearly like a not, I guess, is is the way. It's just not fine. Barry Weiss's Free Press has published pieces minimizing mass killings and denying famine in Gaza. Some random geek making content of dunking on conservatives I never saw as good praxis as some bread-tubers seem to think so. Yeah, that's the thing, right? Like, it's easier than, like, doing in-depth stuff, or like writing, like, long essays or video essays or what have you. But, like, it is easier, and it's funny and it's fun, but it's not. Yeah, maybe it's not helpful, obviously. Like, I think it's worth examining for ourselves whether or not we should be doing this at all. Yeah, Matt Iglesias, so Barry Weiss minimized the mass killings and denied the famine in Gaza. Matt Iglesias dismisses leftist concern for Palestinians as factional power, ignoring Israel's openly settler colonial project and mass displacement plans. Relocked. It all feeds the attention economy, so is a benefit for them, just like dunking on Alex Jones. Yeah, and I'm a huge fan of, like, the Knowledge Fight podcast. Like, I'm a person who really, like, I like to be informed about the way these people think and act, and so I find a lot of value in this stuff. But I can't help but wonder if people are, like you say, it feeds the attention economy. So then people are going to their websites and whatnot, and their shows, and paying attention to them, even though they're liars and, like, blatantly wrong about everything. And I mean, I've said this many times now that, like, Alex Jones is just a fucking professional liar. Like, he just lies nonstop all the time. And and I don't even understand how anybody, like, can watch him and take him seriously, but there seems to be a lot of people who do, and that attention didn't all come from his base, right? Summer and a Geek. I do lazy leftist content by just reading essayists on stream, but I realize I'm making content. I'm not doing praxis. I do hope to get some money to give to my disabled friends, which is I think a type of praxis, and like mutual aid, right? Relocked. All it teaches the algorithm is that there is an audience for these ghouls. Yeah, and that's a big part of it too, right? Is because we're all part of the YouTube, Twitch, TikTok algorithm beasts, social media. So the more you interact, like, that's why instead of interacting with these people on, like, Twitter and shit, I just eventually gave up. Like, not only was it bad for my mental health and for my intellectual growth, but also it's just bad in general because you're bringing attention to their stuff. So I just ended up blocking them on Twitter, and every time I see one of these guys on my YouTube or whatever, one of these people, I always, like, say this: I'm not interested in this. Velka 999. I have a coworker who's obsessed with Alex Jones. He has views that directly contradict. Yeah, that's right. And if again, like if you listen to like the Knowledge Fight podcast, which is a very good podcast, they really will always be like, if past Alex would hate what Alex is doing now. Because the views that he had when he started the show, or even back when he was on radio, rather than on the internet, are directly contradictory to the stances he's taking now. Like he's all pro fucking billionaire now. Like he's pro surveillance state. He's pro like everything that he should be against. Like yeah, but because he doesn't have to be consistent. Talia says, my father-in-law owns the porn stores near me and also follows Alex Jones religiously. Oh man. So like that's going to directly impact his income streams, right? Like the laws that are being enacted because of Alex Jones's propaganda are directly contradictory to that kind of business. It's insane. Velka 999 the other day told me that hurricanes in the Hawaii weren't real and that Oprah took control of some of the escape routes for her personal use to get away from the hurricanes. That is an Alex Jones talking point. Yeah, that's actually right off of Alex Jones, especially the hurricanes not being real and the anti-Oprah stuff. I'm not a big Oprah fan, obviously, but yeah, pretty wild. I guess I'm gonna move on to my next story if that's yeah. I could read the comments and slam Alex Jones and these guys all day, because that's the thing. Like that's what it is. Like a fun thing to do, but like Relock said, like it teaches the algorithm that we are interested in these people. And now they've got AI analyzing all the videos and shit. So like the fact that we mentioned Alex Jones now, somebody who watches this video might get fed something from, an Alex Jones stan or one of these right-wing ghouls. Talia Turner. It's like a strawman that actually somehow convinces people. Yeah. No, it's insane. Insane. The world is upside down. Finally, Canada joins the rest of us, like the Canadian state, finally joins the rest of us in calling a famine what it is. Canada has officially endorsed a UN-backed determination that famine is occurring in Gaza, marking a significant shift in its public stance. Randeep Sarai, Secretary of State for International Development, said Ottawa is deeply alarmed and that Israel is failing to meet its obligations under international law. While Israel rejects the famine designation and points to a small increase in aid deliveries, humanitarian groups insist that what is reaching Gaza is grossly insufficient, and the Carney government's recognition of the famine and criticism of Israel contrasts with conservative MPs who continue to blame Hamas for Palestinian suffering. Because that's, although I don't know that I've heard Pierre Poilievre say much about Gaza since he won his seat back. Oh, that was one of the articles I should have put in here. Pierre Poilievre is back in office. He won the seat that was basically vacated specifically so he could maintain his leadership of the Canadian Conservative Party, which is the opposition party. And he came right out of the gate, like being with his anti-trans shit. Yeah, that's right. He's been too busy going after us over there about, transphobic, the transphobic nurse. That's, pretty wild stuff. I wonder if I should maybe watch Rachel Gilmore's coverage of that on a post, maybe a stream tomorrow or the next day or something, after my appointments. No, he's he's not really focusing on Gaza right now, but anyway, the Carney government's recognition of famine and criticism of Israel's UN-backed integrated food security phase classification declared UN-backed. I must have declared the famine is occurring in parts of Gaza and will likely spread. Israel disputes the finding, citing an increase in aid trucks after international pressure. There was also, I was just watching the surfs a little bit this morning. I didn't really watch it closely, but there was a CTV mistake, quote unquote mistake, where they actually called the genocide in Gaza or of Palestinians a genocide, and they didn't say they didn't hedge it. So then they ended up having to apologize, and so Lance was watching the apology this morning, and it seemed I don't know how you can take yourself seriously as a human being if you cannot call things what they actually are. It blows my mind that something that's supposed to appear to be like journalism would say what's happening, would say the word genocide, and wouldn't hedge and say some people are saying it's a genocide. They actually said the word Israel is committing a genocide, and then they got to backtrack it because they can't fucking take a stance because nobody can actually say what's really happening in the world. Honestly, on some level, it's no wonder that people don't trust the mainstream media, because they keep doing shit like that. Yeah, actually, actual fake news. Yeah, like it's so weird that you can't just say things that are real. Imagine if reporters were as brave as they tell us they are. Yeah, imagine. We might actually hear some criticism of the governments that are in power and the things that they do and the billionaires that run the system. We might actually see some change in public opinion, but they know that because un- because they've probably read fucking manufacturing consent as well, right? like we read it and it told us what not to believe in a way, right? And they read it and they're like, this is what we need to do then. We need to make sure that we don't ever fucking criticize Israel or military action by the US or when Canada interferes in the elections of a Latin American country by claiming that their guy is the legitimate president or whatever, right? Because that shit happens semi regularly. So yeah, so those were our 5 main stories for the evening. I'm gonna our lightning round, which may or may not take just as long. Uh, we've got an update on the Air Canada story, which is interesting because I was listening to some podcasts and the Air Canada thing was at the time the government had demanded that the strikers go back to work, and then they refused, even though they the leaders of the union were potentially facing some kind of legal action. I don't know if they would have actually been put in jail or if they would have been fined or what have you, but they were actually standing up to it. And so cool to see them wildcat. Yeah, exactly. I posted something about how fucking awesome that was, and fuck the Carney government, and fuck the nonsense from Air Canada demanding that people work for fucking free, and some reply guy comes to me and says, "Oh, well, they settled it last or this morning or whatever." And even now, this is a week later, and now it looks like this strike may continue. This deal, I don't know if they voted on it now, but there was talk about this deal. This was what day did this come out? This was 3 days ago. So it's entirely possible that things have changed. I haven't seen anything new. I found this article, I think, not last night, but the night before. Yeah, so they went on strike over the unpaid groundwork, boarding duties, and cabin checks performed before takeoff. And for decades, North American or Air Canada have only paid flight attendants once the plane starts moving, leaving crews with hours of unpaid labor every month. After the strike, they reached a deal. It wasn't. I don't think it was actually a huge strike, but they did plan it, and they went on strike. They voted to go on strike, and they did go on strike. But I don't think it lasted very long. So yeah, and then there's supposedly a deal on the table which isn't up to par. A lot of people aren't happy with it. Saw someone estimate it was like 32 hours unpaid per month. Yeah, my notes here I have roughly 40. So I mean, that's not nothing, right? Like that's 40 hours you're working for free. Air Canada is getting money out of you, extracting your labor and giving you nothing in compensation. I wouldn't do that. No fucking way I would do that. That's a full week of pay. Exactly. Yeah, that's right. I say this all the time too. Like I absolutely would never do my job for free. I do give them roughly, 30 minutes a day of free time just because I show up early. And maybe I shouldn't even do that. Like, like I'm trading my wage for a pay. I'm trading my time for pay. I'm not out there doing the work because it's meaningful, because I care about it. And even if I cared about it, then I should be getting compensated appropriately for it. It's just the system demands so much of workers that we're supposed to just give up our time for nothing. It's absolutely ridiculous. So yeah, Ottawa tried to shut down the strike using Section 107 of the Canadian Labour Code, which allows the federal government to force binding arbitration and end job actions. But happily, we saw this union resist that and insist on going on strike anyway. Workers kept striking despite the risk of fines or legal consequences, betting that public sympathy was on their side. And it worked. Of course, it worked, because nobody wants to work for free. And we all understand that you shouldn't have to work for free. So public pressure made it politically costly for Ottawa to escalate further. The government could not easily paint the workers as greedy. Vulcan 999. It's unfortunately a capitalist society. Now pay me. Yeah, that's right. You refuse to let me have the things I need to survive without working. So I'm not free to do the thing I want that will contribute to society. So I'm going to trade my time for a wage. Yeah, pay me, motherfuckers. And now with Air Canada on board, like I say, they have a deal on the table, but it is not. Last I heard, it was not settled yet. But now, because Air Canada is starting to cave to this pressure, other companies like WestJet and Air Transat are now under pressure to follow suit. Fucking pretty wild stuff. The only reason I show up for my job is because I'm paid to do it. I don't have pride in my job outside of that. Yeah, that's I mean, I'm good at my job. I'm very good at my job. And I like being good at it, but I don't take pride in the job itself. Like they've demonstrated multiple times that this is not my business, and I work for someone else who can demand of me unreasonable things under any circumstance. And that's how workplaces function. That's the way that capitalism has built it. We live under totalitarian regimes, but on small scales. So, next up, and this is my final. This is another one of these stories that I kind of like shoved in here because I was like, "Fuck, I don't know about this. I'm trying to find something that I feel suits the episode and suits the theme of the show." And so this Trump appointed judge issues a rebuke throws out the DOJ suit in a deportation case. Excuse me. A federal judge has dismissed Trump Justice Department case aimed at deporting Kilmar Abrego Garcia, a Maryland father whose situation highlights the administration's chaotic mass deportation push. Judge Thomas C. Cullen, who was a Trump appointee, rebuked the administration for attacking judges who ruled against it, calling the rhetoric a smear campaign unprecedented and unfortunate. Garcia was previously deported to El Salvador despite a judicial order. then he was brought back only to face new charges and threats of deportation, and the Justice Department is still seeking to deport him again, but this time to Uganda. So yeah, that's basically the gist of it. The history of what's been going on with Kilmar Abrego Garcia is pretty bizarre, in my opinion. Like, this is not a dude who's like, I don't know. I can't see any reason why they would target this specific guy except to set an example as like a we can do whatever the fuck we want kind of thing. Like it's just authoritarian garbage, I guess. And I'm kind of surprised that a Trump appointed judge fought against this, because it seems like they all fall in line so often that yeah, it's pretty wild. Yeah, I don't know. So I guess last but not least, capitalism's most deranged most deranged moment of the week. No, wrong one. Click that off. Velkin 999. His story has been a thorn in their side. Yeah. And it really demonstrates how fucking backwards and terrible their policy is, right? So what do we got here? YouTube. This is the story on YouTube. Editing billions of users' videos and training AI without their consent. So YouTube and its parent company Google are facing backlash after revelations that billions of fucking videos, like how fucking crazy is that, were used without creator content consent. Relocked. The fact that they're going to keep targeting him just because he's a name everyone knows now is cruel. Yeah, absolutely. That's right. It's just like say, it's just cruelty to a person for the sake of setting an example, which is yeah, it's just awful. It's just awful. So Google Google and YouTube are facing backlash because they used billions of videos without consent to train AI models, including Google's VO3. Subtitles from at least 173,000 videos across more than 48,000 channels were scraped and shared. See, hold on. It said billions of videos, editing billions of users' videos, but then it says 173,000. Oh, the subtitles from 173,000. So it was billions of videos, but only the subtitles from 173,000 or so were scraped and shared with major tech companies like Anthropic, Nvidia, Apple, and Salesforce. High-profile creators such as Mr. Beast, Mark Brownlee, Jacksepticeye, PewDiePie, and David Pakman had hundreds of videos included without their permission. Also, YouTube has been quietly altering creators' videos using AI. Musicians Rick Beto and Rhett Scholl noticed subtle changes, sharper images, makeup-like effects that they had never approved. So yeah, YouTube confirmed that it's experimenting with AI-driven video tweaks on shorts, but creators argue it misrepresents their work and erodes audience trust. So, So if you're popular enough, YouTube will just say, "Hey, we're gonna make it look like you're prettier than you are," which I guess whatever. It seems like a waste. I don't know if that. Do people come to YouTube Shorts because the person on them is attractive? Maybe they do. I don't know. So this, in June, reports emerged that Google had used over 20 billion YouTube videos without consent to train its new AI model, which is, relocked. This seems worth a rainforest. Yeah, no shit, right? Yeah, we absolutely are destroying the world so that you can view slightly more attractive people on YouTube Shorts. Fucking deadly. That's fucking awesome. Velka 999, the assumption I have is that this is a measure to normalize the look of AI to further muddy reality. Yeah, I could see that too. So then you're turning like regular videos into to appear as though they're more like AI. So now you can't tell the difference. I could see that for sure. Cause I know they really, a lot of stuff is really pushing the AI videos. And I know TikTok does has a lot of AI videos on it. Like we talked about 2 weeks ago, spreading like hate against various groups. And yeah, relock that. Yeah. Yeah. That's a really good point. Normalize the weird AI. It's so wild. Uh, high profile creators affected. Yeah, well, I already said that. They have some numbers here too. Like David Pakman, not my favorite dude, had 160 videos, but at least he's kind of a leftist. A lot of these other ones are kind of not. So I don't know. I don't know how much of this is going to be, these AI models, are they training them on like what they think is normal people, or are they training them on how much of this is for propaganda purposes that they don't even really realize, like the pro status quo kind of stuff, pro capital, pro state, pro fucking, neoliberalism. Like this is pretty clearly like going to be geared towards that, right? If they're just take it like, it's not like Pac-Man is not exactly great on the subject of Israel, but at least he's a leftist on some level, right? Mr. Beast is just wacky, but he's like super capitalist, super fucking pro-American way of doing things. I don't know. It just seems like pretty wild. But that is all my stories for the evening. I guess I didn't really do a lot of great digging on mutual aid groups this week. I was really distracted this week, so I didn't have my notes done until this morning. so so usually I try to have them done by Sunday, Monday night at the latest, but Tuesday morning, the morning of the recording is pretty late for me. But again, we're gonna. I wonder if there's a lawsuit like with the authors where I don't know. Yeah, it's hard to say it because I know like YouTube is definitely saying that they did nothing wrong and that it's all part of the terms and of service, right? So yeah, I don't know whether that's going to be beneficial or effective or not. So I just looked at this today. Click. This for the mutual aid stuff or like support. This is still to help KJ with his battle against a brain tumor. I see now. I don't know when this update was done, but KJ was in surgery, but now the surgery will cost over $60,000. So I'm going to post this into the chat again, and if anybody can. If you can donate something to help this family with their battle against to pay now for this brain surgery, please do. It's pretty wild stuff. They're at about just under $12,000 raised, but they need over 60,000. So it's pretty tough, for sure. Obviously, next I'm doing the Cathedral Community Fridge, which is the local one of two local fridges. I should start also supporting the other community fridge as well on here, and just clumping them together because it does seem like they both do fucking pretty good work. So if you can support the community fridges in your area, if you're in Regina, support the community fridges here. And then of course I've got the Palestinian Children's Relief Fund. This is, money for medical care, food, and humanitarian aid to families in Gaza and the West Bank. And then this last one, this is a Linktree for Taylor McNally. If you have been watching this channel for a long time, you might remember from back in my first year going, I interviewed Taylor McNally, activist from out of Calgary, and she does some pretty awesome stuff. I'm going to post her Linktree here. She's got a bunch of stuff here. Like there's direct aid requests that she's got listed. She's part of what's called Mutual Aid Canada, which is a group of citizens who are trying to help the people meet their needs. So I'm going to post her Linktree in the comments here as well. And if you can, if you have the means, obviously, like I'm not saying like if you don't have the means, you can't give. That's just the thing. But I thought, fuck, I know that Taylor is doing good work and has also been targeted by the police in Calgary quite a bit, and deserves support and deserves her, and these projects that she supports deserve support. So I thought I would put those out there. And same with last time, I also have a message from the Left Texas Congress. So greetings, comrades. We are the Left Texas Congress, a not-for-profit organization in Texas dedicated to combating poverty through autonomous means. We are not affiliated with the Texas state government. In February of 2026, we will be holding a healthcare and housing symposium with the objectives of formulating a plan to finance and autonomize our healthcare and housing, to establish hope and resilience in working class and poor communities, and to create alternative approaches to privatized healthcare and proprietorship over people's lives. We are seeking healthcare and housing activists and advocates to help with workshops and panel discussions for this symposium. Please let us know if you would like to be part of this project by emailing us left_Texas_Congress at proton.me, or you can check out their profile on Blue Sky. Here is the link in the chat. And that's lefttexascongress.bsky.social. If you're in Texas and this interests you, we want you in our crew. Join us in our cause. Love and solidarity. The Left Texas Congress. Freedom, justice, equality. And that's it for tonight, I think. Really, really appreciate everybody in the chat. That was really another really good one. I really appreciate everybody. If you have means and have already given to people more in need than I, please go support the show at patreon.com/skepticalleftist, or you can click the join membership or whatever here on YouTube, or I don't think I can get support on Twitch yet because I've only got like 66 fucking followers or something. I haven't matched the criteria for affiliate or whatever it is that lets you subscribe for money. But there's my Ko-Fi link down there in the chat as well on Twitch. So yeah, if you've already given to people who need it more than I do, I'm doing fine. Everybody's struggling. Do not feel like you need to give to me first. Other than that, though, I really appreciate the chat. Thank you, everybody. I may or may not do a post stream over on Twitch. I'll post on my social media if I do. Yeah, somewhere in a week. You need an average of 3 viewers on Twitch over 30 days. Yeah, which I'm not sure. I might be getting close. I think I was at 2 last time. Yeah. Well, 1.6 maybe I might have been at. Yeah. So yeah, Twitch is not a place where I can get support at this time. But you can definitely support me on YouTube, on Patreon or Ko-Fi, or get a paid subscription on Substack if you don't if you're over there. Yeah. But again, there are many people who need that money more than I do. And I do already have a decent, a lot of really great supporters, which I really appreciate. So with that, thanks everybody. Vulcan 999. Damn, had I known, I would have been watching on Twitch. Yeah, no, I'm over on Twitch all the time. I'm usually on Twitch more often than I'm on YouTube, actually, because it's very casual there. You can listen to podcasts, you can watch videos, you can, like, I know technically the law is probably still the same, but it seems like they don't enforce it the way that YouTube does. YouTube really is really strict about like other people's content being on your streams and stuff. So yeah, with that though, thank you again, everybody. Looks like we had a really good really good audience today and lots of great comments from everybody. Nice to meet you, Talia. Nice to see you again, Relocked, and Velka999, and some random geek. And sorry to anybody who chatted that I didn't mention. Have a great night.